This is Hannibal here from the Hannibal TV on YouTube today with a boxing related interview. Very sad situation related to Varnes, which I'm probably not pronouncing right, but
Vanis, Vanis.
I'll let you say his name since I'm not.
Uh, no worries. Vanis Martirosyan.
Very good. He's a great boxer. I've uh,
Yeah.
I've I've been watching him box ever since I heard about the tragedy and first found out about the situation. Former Olympian passed away due to complications from skin cancer recently, and you are the owner of the gym where he was training at one
No,
point.
no, 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 no. No.
No.
He never trained at my gym. He came down to my gym for a
Okay.
boxing event. We used to train together back in 2009 at Wild Card Boxing in Hollywood, California. That's how I met Vanis.
Okay. Well, we have a common friend, Tommy Morrison's widow, Trisha, who is
Correct.
working on right now the Tommy Morrison documentary about his death. So she was also very upset about this news because she'd met him before. She went to one of your events. Why don't you start off by telling us your connection to the
Veins.
boxer that passed away?
Okay. I invited Vanis to come down to my boxing event and basically to come support the youth. And he came down. Um, and I was really surprised because with Vanis's status, I mean, I'm just, I don't have the status that Vanis has. You know, he's got an outstanding record and he's a great boxer. I mean, he fought one of the best fighters, Triple G. You know, he was resilient. He was just outstanding. And I'm just, a boxing coach here in Yuma, Arizona. I met Vanis back in 2009, like I mentioned, at Wildcard Boxing. And later on, which was in 2003, I hit him up on Facebook and he called me immediately. And I asked him to come down to my gym, to my event. And usually, like if I invite somebody, I'm going to um, pay their way to come out. And Vanis was not about that. He wanted to just come out and support. Um, and he's just an amazing person. Sorry if I get emotional. This is really hard for me to do. Um, and he's gone. He's gone. So he came down. He supported the youth. Came to my event, and we planned on getting together again for him to come down and do a Vanis boxing camp. And unfortunately, that never happened. Um, I sensed that something was wrong, and eventually he told me that he was battling skin cancer. So, and he fought for 2 years, and unfortunately, he lost the battle. So,
Tell us a little bit about some of his successes as a boxer.
like you mentioned, he was a former Olympian. He trained with the best, Freddie Roach. He just was his record was outstanding. Um, I've never seen anything like it. And his last fight with Triple G, which I thought was pretty insane, to be honest, to fight somebody like Triple G, and he still got in the ring, and he lost the fight, but I mean that's just remarkable to do something like that. I think it's pretty insane. But Veins had a very strong personality, very authentic, and I consider I consider that we had a very strong friendship, loyal friendship, because I'm really compared to him, I'm really just I don't want to say nobody because that's not what I think I am, but with his status, like he trusted me, he trusted me and we had a great friendship. He was like a brother to me. And I can't even stop shaking, man. This is very hard for me to do. Um, I don't know what else to say. He's just he's an amazing guy, and it's skin cancer. I think there's no cure for it, from what I heard, and I heard that he really tried to fight and try to find a cure. He went to Mexico. We would text back and forth about his condition and how he was doing, and I'm still in disbelief. Like he died. He's gone. I don't know.
How long was the battle with skin cancer, and did they try to cut it
You
out
know,
first or anything?
they said that that surgery was not possible. Like it wasn't possible to do. It was only to prolong his time. Really, there's no cure for it. So eventually, he was gonna die. That's what that's what the skin cancer. That's what they say about skin cancer. You know. But he kept, posting about how he's going to Mexico, and he told me he was getting treatment in Mexico, and that he was just fighting, and he even came out with an article. He did an interview speaking about how he's trying to prolong his time with his family, with his kids and his wife, and I don't know. It's just
How many kids did he have?
he's got two children, a boy and a girl,
Okay.
young.
That's really unfortunate. He is from a wealthy family, right?
Yes. Um, I believe so. He's very, very generous. Like I said, I wanted to bring him out and pay for him to come out because I felt like that's the right thing to do when you're inviting somebody, and he refused. Like he paid his way, came out here, and he donated to my gym, a very generous donation. Obviously he's got money, and he's on HBO, he's everywhere. He's high status. Mhm.
What's your background to open up the gym then?
I've been in boxing for 16 years. The reason why I got into boxing, everybody got a sad story, so that's another story. But I got into boxing because I lost my family, my kids, and boxing was my outlet. It was a way for me to gain my sanity. Mental health is real. People don't realize how bad it can get. Um, and it cost me my family, my marriage, my kids. Eventually, I won all that back. I had to go to court, but boxing saved my life. And I lived in my car, and it was hard. And that's when I knew Vanes. That's when he was starting out, and he was struggling too. And he lived out of his car, But um, I think every boxer has a story, a sad story. Um, But yeah, I've been in the sport for 16 years. I've done amateur boxing. I've done masters division boxing. Um, I don't call myself like an A-list, an A-lister or whatever or anything like that. But I love boxing and I'm a boxing coach. And I think I consider myself a pretty good promoter. So, but
What do you think about the future of boxing right now with Saudi Arabia getting into the game and throwing in unheard of amounts of money at fighters?
I don't know, but boxing is not like what it used to be, honestly. It's turned into no disrespect, like a circus. It's not what it used to be. It used to be really about the sport. And I think as far as Triple G becoming the president of boxing, I think they did a really good choice because he's a very excellent boxer and he's passionate and he was never about the money. So I think they chose the right candidate for that. Um, But as far as the rest, with all these people trying to box and fight, it's it's not what it used to be. It's kind of disrespectful, but it's become like a business, all about money, you know? It's I don't know. It's pretty crazy. So,
Where did the Armenian Nightmare nickname come from?
um, well, Vanes loved his country. And one thing that me and him had in common is I'm Palestinian, so I'm very passionate about what's going on. And that's I can get into that because I'm always speaking about the whole Palestine conflict. And he felt the same way. Um, the Armenian, going through their genocide and the Palestinians going through their genocide, which some people say it's not a genocide, but it was a genocide. Um, and it's been going on since 1948. And so we had that in common, and we used to talk about that a lot, you know. It's tragic, and the sad thing is, like, you talk about it, nobody believes you, and then now everybody sees it. Everybody sees that it is what it is. It's bad, and that's one thing that we had in common. And I think he loved his country so much. He always talked about it, being a proud Armenian, being born in Armenia, and um, he had the whole Glendale fans over there. There's a lot of Armenians in Glendale, California. So that's one thing that me and him had in common, you know? And like I said, I consider myself to be um a friend to him than all these people that are like yes men and these fake people pretending to be your friends once you become that status. And our friendship was different. He trusted me. And we had some crazy moments, especially when he was coming out here to the event. I didn't know how high of a status he was or what he liked and stuff. And like I said, he paid his way out here, but it's just um, he's like a strong personality and a little bit of a I don't want to say a brat, but it's a good brat. He's got a huge heart, and good memories, good memories. Um, he came out here, and he was about to not come out here, because I don't know anything about booking flights and all that stuff and first class and all that stuff. And um, I don't know if he was testing me to see what I was gonna do or whatever, but he did end up coming out, and he was upset because his he had a baggage on the plane, and I guess they were throwing it around or something like that. And he's like, "Since when have they been checking luggage?" And I was like, "Since 9/11, they've been doing that." And I don't think he was aware of that, and he was upset kind of because his baggage got scratched. And it was a Louis Vuitton, and that's like a $3,000 bag. So like he was very upset about that. But when he came out and I saw the bag, I laughed and he laughed, and I said, "So that's Louis, huh?" But and he's like, "Yeah, sorry for giving you a hard time, sis." He would call me sis. "Sorry for giving you a hard time, sis." And he asked me for my Zelle information and he donated to my gym. So obviously he's got money, but that's really not the point. The point is he had a generous heart. He's obviously like any human being, everybody's flawed, nobody's perfect, you know. I'm not perfect. But he showed up for me, he showed up for me and we had a great time and we had plans and it never happened, unfortunately. So
He had a pretty impressive undefeated streak, 28-0 with 17 KOs. What do you think were some of the keys to him getting that?
Honestly, I think he talked about the jab a lot, his jab, and how like he wanted to come and teach the youth his style and his way and how to throw the jab, and there was a certain way to the jab. He would talk about the jab. And obviously he's very resilient. He wasn't scared of anybody. He fought anybody, like Triple G again, and I just think that he was just very technical, um, um, trained, and like before he got his cancer, and I don't know, but he started to get depressed. He would tell me that he felt depressed because he really wanted to fight again, and he just wasn't feeling well. I don't know if that was the cancer, and he just didn't know it, or he did know it, but didn't share that part. But he did want to fight again. I don't think when fighters stop, I don't think they ever want that to stop. They want to keep going. It's a lifestyle. You never want to stop. And with the fights that he had, and the people that he fought, like he's not a joke. He's a real boxer. He's a real hardcore boxer. He's not like those. I don't want to like disrespect other boxers, and I'm not even gonna mention names, but like he's a real boxer. He's a real fighter. Um, Hardcore fighter. And I think that comes from his background, his um, being born in Armenia, everything he's endured, the struggle. I think it's all of it combined. So,
What did he teach you personally about boxing that has been the most useful in your sparring and training other people?
well, when he came down to the event, we didn't really have time to talk about like uh, boxing, but we did talk about him coming out and um doing a camp, a veins camp for the youth, and to have kids train with him and his style and his way and stuff like that. And he wanted me to put it out there, and it was going to be like a 3-day 4-day type of event, where he can because obviously you can't do that in 1 day thing. But yeah, when he came out, we didn't really talk about boxing. It was about just being there for the youth and watching sparring, and with the time limit we had, there wasn't much to really, you know, talk about. But like through text messaging and stuff like that, he told me his vision, what he wanted to do, how he wanted to come out, and how he wanted to help the youth and do a camp and show him what he learned and how he trains and all that stuff. So, um,
Well,
yeah,
speaking of his training, when you look back thinking about him in the gym,
yeah.
what are some of the things that really capture who he was as a fighter?
Oh man, as soon as he walked into the room, he had this aura. He had this aura, man. Like it's just incredible. Some people just have that energy, and he was full of life, like just full of it. Like you could see it. He's very magnetic, and he doesn't try to be magnetic. He's magnetic, and if you look into his eyes, you can see his. It's just pureness, man. It's just heart and innocence. It's I mean, he's a grown man, but you saw innocence. Like he was full of love, purity, like just kindness. And we resonate in so many ways with that. He's just incredible. And it's I can't fathom like any of this, it's still hard to swallow. Um that he's gone. He's especially him being a fighter, and he loved life so much, you know, he really loved life and he loved his family. He was all about his family, and he just was a good good person, you know. A good friend, and like I said, he owes nobody, well, he owes nobody nothing, you know, and I'm just um I'm just I feel honored and appreciated, valued that he came out for me, you know, and didn't want anything in return, you know, like he came out and supported me and wanted to continue to support me, you know. We just had that connection. I think you have to have that connection, especially as a coach, with your students. There has to be that connection, and me and Vanes had that connection. So,
In your opinion, what do you think his most significant fight was in his career? And also, what do you think his most challenging fight was?
honestly, I think it's with Triple G. I've watched it over and over. I'm just um I don't know. Triple G is like he's when you look at him, he looks like this gentle guy, but he's a beast and he's got a chin, you know. So uh but I was just blown away to see that he got in the ring with him. Um I think that was a fight that really stood out and that everybody talks about, that everybody mentions to me, you know, that he fought Triple G, you know, like this guy fought Triple G. Is he crazy? You know, but like he was resilient, he was brave, he was courageous, he was just, I don't know, he was amazing. And I don't know, Manny Pacquiao is like my one of my favorite fighters, but I still think that Veins is Manny's just real humble and um quick, but he's not, I don't think he's technical and fights the way Veins fights, you know. Um he's just more quick and fast, and I don't know. Veins is outstanding, man. He's and it's sad that, like, I know he wanted to fight, he wanted to continue to fight, and he didn't get that opportunity, you know, because he was sick. Or And he told me, he was like, "You need to come out and you need to support me. You better be there. You better come to my fights." And um, I remember him mentioning something about fighting in Mexico. I don't think that fell through, or I don't know. But then he just didn't talk much about it. And then when he was supposed to come down to my other event, he said, "Sorry, sis, I got bad news. I can't make it." And I'm like, "What's going on?" And he told me, you know, I got cancer and it's really all on God's will, you know. So that didn't sound too promising. And then he came out with the
What
article.
religion was he, by the way?
A Christian, I believe. We didn't really talk about religion, but I believe he was a Christian. Yeah.
Who were the people that really influenced him in his inner circle, both inside and outside of boxing, that he would have told you about?
All I know is of Freddie Roach. I know that was his trainer and that he trained with him. And and I know that he had Armenian coaches and people from his background that he looked up to and that were in his corner and he worked with, but I'm not sure as far as their names and he didn't really discuss that with me, so I couldn't really tell you. Yeah.
I see. And as far as what drove him to reach the heights that he reached in boxing, what do you think was the main thing that drove him, and how did he keep his motivation going through so many training camps
You
and
know
fights?
what?
What do you think the big thing was?
I'm sure that it wasn't always, look, we cannot always be motivated. That's just reality. I don't think he was always motivated. I'm sure he had his struggles and things happen in his life that I don't feel like is right to discuss when the person's gone. He's gone. Um, but everybody has struggles, and we're not always motivated. I just think that he stayed disciplined, and that's what we do. We stay disciplined no matter what life throws at us, and if you really want it and if you want to get out, you're going to stay disciplined. And I think that's what he did. He mentioned living in his car and struggling and all the stuff that he's been through, and then like the media trying to destroy his reputation, which they do when they see somebody doing really well. They have to come up with a story to try to destroy them, which everybody gets. It's just ridiculous, but um, yeah, I just believe from struggle, that he became what he became. Um, all the
He
things that
was
he's
in
been through.
jail for something for a while too, which is not
Yeah,
uncommon for fighters to have that side to them. Do you know anything
right.
about what that was all about?
I don't know, but I know that he had his like I said, I don't really want to talk too much about um the stuff that the stuff that doesn't really matter anymore because he's gone, and he's not here to talk about that and defend himself. But and I care about him. He's my friend, and um, I just know that everybody has problems. Everybody has demons. Everybody struggles. I did make a joke at him one time because when he came out here, he kind of gave me a like I said, I didn't know anything about luggage and booking the right flights and this and that and how high status he was and this and that, and eventually I figured it out, and he was very sincere and genuine and was like, I'm sorry, sis, I didn't mean to give you a hard time. And he gave me a generous donation to the gym. So but at that time I threw in his face, you know what, I was about to not let you come out here because I heard some bad stuff about you in the news. And he's all, oh, that's just the media trying to destroy me and trying to ruin my reputation, and don't believe any of that. And I was like, nah, I was just joking. I just brought that up to just mess with you. We had that understanding. We could talk to each other like that. I could joke around with him and he could never be mad at me. He could be a little bit of um complicated, but and high maintenance. But he trusted me, when he came out here, he wanted to like go, besides the event, he wanted to do his own thing, and he left his luggage with me, his Louis Vuitton. And he trusted me to take care of his belongings, he brought it to my house, and he dropped it off and he left. And um later on I brought it back to him at the gym, and we gave each other a hug, and we said our goodbyes, and we continued to text each other and talk about boxing plans at my gym and the future, and him continuing to fight. And a couple times I was going to go to LA and hang out, but he was busy doing stuff. But it is what it is. But like I said, I heard about the jail thing. I heard about the domestic violence thing and all that stuff. But everybody has problems. Nobody's perfect, and that's what people forget. They think because you're high status, or you're a person of uh I don't know. They just think that you're supposed to be perfect, like you can't make mistakes. Um and it's bull crap. You're a human being. Especially boxers. They all got problems. We all got problems. It's a real deal. Like mental health is real. That's how I got into boxing. I had postpartum depression, severe, debilitating, where I ended up losing my family and ended up in a mental hospital. I lost it all. So what does that tell you? But does that make me a bad person? Like, no, I went through my struggles, and that's the same thing with him. He had his problems and his demons, and I know that he loved his family and his children and his wife, and um He was respectful, very loyal, generous, kind, loving, full of life. And I'll never forget him. And I will always cherish that he came out for me. And we built a good relationship of friendship, a sincere, genuine, authentic friendship. He knew that I had his back and he could trust me. So
So
yeah.
he passed away about 5 days ago on the 23rd. We're the 28th today. When was the last time you saw him, and when was the last time you talked with him, and what were those
I
experiences like?
talked to him about maybe a week and a half before he passed away. I texted him a picture. I think I sent you the picture of in my office of him hanging in my office. I sent that to him and I told him to keep fighting and stay strong. And he just sent me a message of, like the emojis of being strong and with a bunch of the prayer symbol, and he says, "Thanks, sis." He always calls me sis. So, and that was it. Like a week and a half before he passed away, and then I started to see in his Instagram story and in his Facebook after that he was not doing well, and for everybody to pray for him. And I just like, oh no, it can't be. But it was bad. And then the day that he passed, I didn't even know. Like I got on Facebook and I saw somebody comment and they said, rest in peace, Veins. And I put what? And somebody phoned me from California, an 818 number, and said, "Hey, I just want to let you know Baines passed away." And I already knew, and I was crying when they called me. And I was just like, "Thank you for calling." I was just so distraught that I don't remember who I was even talking to, but I believe it was a family member or a friend or somebody that they mentioned that they were close to Veins. So, yeah.
Right, and this was the picture that you're talking about there. Tell us a
It's
little
the
bit
one
about
where
that
he's
picture.
let me put my glasses on here. I apologize. Okay, that picture is when he came to my event. That was at my event, but I think there's a picture I sent to you of him in my office and he's throwing a punch at somebody. Not that one. Those are pictures when I was boxing. Nope, 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 not that one. I think there's another one. I don't know if you got
Yeah,
it. Maybe we can
I'll go through them here. I guess they went into my junk mail, but
no
I'll
worries.
find it. You were jacked. Did you send me one picture email or two?
I think I sent it all on one.
Okay. That's
Nah,
you
that's not
too.
it. Yeah, Masters. That's when I fought in
How
Masters.
much were you benching in those days?
No, the picture just makes it look like that, dude. But I was about 100, 147, 148. That's his autograph that he signed for me back in 2009, and the on the back of a Wild Card Boxing Club um, business card, and that's where I trained at with Freddie Roach. I didn't personally train with Freddie Roach. I trained with Pepper Roach, his brother, and Freddie had a bunch of coaches in there working for him. So that's where I
Okay.
met Veins.
Well, it says you sent me 7 pictures.
Okay, that's the name of my gym, Holy Land Fight Club.
Okay, cool. Why did you call it Holy Land? What made you call it
I
Holy
was
Land
born in
Fight Club?
Jerusalem, and I'm Palestinian, so that's
Oh yeah. When was the last time you were
honestly
in the
right
Holy
now it's
Land?
just boxing, Holy Land boxing, but that's when I first started.
Okay.
Um, uh, I can't. I'm not going back, dude. They're always fighting. Like it's just crazy. I've been here since I was a little kid, 5 years old. There's okay, that's him, and there's another one. I think it's after this picture. That's him, and the coach that he's picking him up. I know that that coach was very close to him, either a coach or a family member. I know that they were very close.
Okay. I think you didn't, for some reason, that one didn't come through. Is it on your Facebook?
All right, let me see. Yeah, hold on. I don't know how to do this without logging this out.
What's your
So, but it's
Facebook name? Tell us your Facebook name. Say on there and I'll just look it up.
okay. It's Rahnia, Rahnia.
Okay, I see it now. Okay. So
All
now
right,
we can, so it's Rania Holy Land Boxing for anyone that wants to
that's
talk to you.
that's correct.
Thanks. Okay. Is that you dancing?
Where?
You, on your
Oh
Facebook?
yeah,
Let me
that's me
see.
dancing. I was so happy because I brought down Christy Martin, the world champion, to my gym, and that's after she left. I was so happy. I was celebrating.
Yeah, you have good face. You have good footwork. Who are you doing boxing fights in your backyard?
No, 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 no. I right now I just teach personal training. I do footwork. I teach the basics. As far as sparring, I go to other gyms that have a boxing ring. But I used to have a boxing ring. I had a whole facility.
Okay. What's the backyard fighting
Yeah.
pictures?
Oh, that's at somebody's gym, Chicano Boxing. They have a backyard boxing, a ring. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
And
that's
we're
pretty cool.
all, most of us, yeah, most of us are USA boxing coaches. So yeah, there it is. That's Chicano Boxing.
I guess in
I
Arizona
was
you
there
don't have to
to,
worry about it getting as wet as some other places.
yeah, it's too damn hot over here, dude. It's like hell. But it was raining that day, sadly. Like we were happy about it, but sad at the same time because we had to stop the event.
Right.
So
I think
but
I may have
yeah,
found the
most of us,
picture. Is this it? Is this him at your event?
no, that was him at my event, and I had that mural done by a friend of mine. She's a tattoo artist, Sunny Duran. She did that for me. Christy Martin, Vanis Martirosyan, and Tommy Morrison Gunn from Rocky Five. They
Yes.
all, well, his wife came out, and she's been advocating for him for years, and I've supported that because I can't stand injustice. So
Oh, it's a terrible situation.
yeah, really bad. But like I said, the media is out there to destroy you. So
Yeah, they want to take you down, right? I guess
yep.
it's a sign you're popular when everyone
As
wants to
soon
take you
as
down.
soon as they see, yep, as soon as they see that you have all kinds of viewers and likes and this and that, and you're making a difference and you're helping your community and you're doing this and you're doing that, then you're a piece of shit. Pardon my French. That's when
Now,
I was
what's
at
this?
USA Boxing.
That's
Okay, that
okay.
was at a USA Boxing sanctioned fight because I'm a USA Boxing coach. I'm only allowed to participate in USA Boxing sanctioned fights.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, it's an organization. So we are all coaches that are USA Boxing. They only can participate in sanctioned boxing. Now we're allowed to have sparring events, but we cannot be charging admission or doing any of that. We can only do sparring, and we have to be careful because of liability purposes. So,
Of course. There's
and that is one of my favorites right there because that's when he fought Triple G, and unfortunately I mean, I knew that he was going to lose the fight because of just Triple G's his he's just incredible, incredible. Um, and I was, like I said, shocked, and I felt like you got to be insane to fight this guy. But he fought him for the world title, and so I don't know. But yeah, that picture I saw somebody sharing it, and I shared it. Pretty incredible.
yeah, that definitely is hold on a second. Let's take a look
It's
here.
okay if you can't find it. It was basically a picture of
Fly
Oh
away
shit.
from here, from this
yeah,
dark.
that's when he was at my gym with one of my girlfriend's grandbaby. He was holding the baby. We took a picture.
Okay. This one right there. That's him with the baby.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, let's scroll through your Facebook profile here.
There's a
Where
lot
can I
of
find that
stuff.
picture? Is this? Oh, there it is. Right. There's
Okay, that's what Trisha. That's what Trisha. Trisha made that. Trisha and yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, so these are the one. This is the one you're talking about.
Yeah, that's the event that we had. Yeah, the last event. Yep. We had
That's
Trisha come out. It was a 2-day event. The first day was for Vanis, and the second day, Trisha and I, we watched Rocky 5 and got the kids and watched the movie on a big screen in my gym. So that was really fun. Yeah. And that's him standing next to the Armenian flag.
cool. There's a
And that's me and
oh, there's
him.
the Rocky
Yeah.
5 title. I saw that
Yeah.
when I interviewed
Yep.
her recently.
Yep. We're holding the Rocky 5 belt right there.
What do you think about the ridiculousness? And I think that they've already thrown in the towel on this, but apparently the mother of Tommy Morrison that hadn't even seen him for a long time before he died, trying to like put a stop to a documentary about the son. It's like, what kind of family would want to put a stop to a documentary about a famous fighter who's passed away? You'd rather have nothing about him than a
I don't
documentary
know.
putting.
Honestly, like family is family can be very complicated, and I don't really know much about that to give you feedback on that. But I know that I've heard of stories of like families reappearing to get money. You know what I'm saying? I heard of that, but I don't know anything about the mom or anything like that. I just know Trisha advocating for Tommy and promising to advocate for him since he died, of speaking the truth
I
and
know that
putting it out
Trisha
there.
was there when he actually died, so it's like I'll take the word of the
Yeah.
person that was there when he
Yeah,
actually passed
and
away.
I admire her so much for her persistence. She's very consistent with it, and I'm sure she's gone through where people were like enough of this or enough of that, because I've been through that, where everybody's like, all right, can you shut up please, you're always talking about Palestine, free Palestine. Like, nah dude, I'm from there, so I'm gonna be upset. Like, it's not right what's going on, and now everybody knows what's up. So I can relate to that, where but I know she doesn't care. She just keeps going because she promised Tommy that she was going to keep fighting for justice, and it's obvious that he became something big and high status, and people are out there to destroy his career. It's just corrupt in every aspect, So
And I know
I,
Tommy's son Kenzie is actually in the movie, who's had one bare knuckle fighting match. I don't know the status of what's going on with him these
I
days, but
I follow the son on Facebook. I've seen him. He's always like posting stuff of training, but I don't really, like I said, I don't really know too much about like the whole family dynamic or what's going on. I'm sure all kinds of families have, issues, but I do know for sure about Trisha advocating for Tommy, and I've always supported her, and I think she's amazing for doing that. I think that's a very just shows how loyal she is and how much she loved her husband. So,
I just
and
find it funny that the ex-wife who was with him when he did have money, and I
yeah.
understand that she got money out of the divorce and wasn't in his life at all when he was poor. Now
Yep,
coming back, that his name is in
I,
the news again and trying to get a
that
GoFundMe going. It's
that's
so
what they
bizarre.
do. That's what they do. They
Those are the
reappear.
worst of the
They
worst.
It is. It's sad. It is really sad. And it happens to I hear it in so many people's stories. They never cared about you until like you turn something, and then all of a sudden they want your money, or they feel like entitled to your time and your money, and um it's just ridiculous. And sometimes kids they forgive their family and stuff, and they actually help them out, which is not easy to do. And I don't think they're obligated to do it, but they do it because that's their parents. Or but yeah, it's very sad, very sad. So but
Well, the good news is the movie's coming out and there's going to be lots of
yes,
famous people in it, and I'm
yes,
excited to see it. I know a lot
yes,
of Rocky 5 personalities are going to be in the movie as well, so that's something we
yeah,
have to look forward to in 2026.
yes,
I Am Tommy Morrison, I think it's going to be called.
yes. That's what I heard too. And I'm excited for her. I'm excited that it's coming out, and I'm excited that people are still talking about Tommy. That he's not forgotten, because it's tragic what happened. I don't know. It's just so sad what the media does to you. They try to take you down instead of just trying to. I don't know. It's just really sad, dude. It's
It's amazing
unfortunate.
to me that Rocky 5 was filmed when he was 19 and he went on to still win the title after that, because a lot of
Yeah.
people, boxers and young people, are going to get a big head after being in a
Right.
movie with Sylvester Stallone, and they'll get
Right. Right.
distracted from boxing, but that
Right.
he won and had such a career after that when he probably could have gone into movies a
Yep.
little bit more at that point.
Yeah,
That's what's
well,
pretty
he's
amazing.
also a real fighter too, so that's what he loved. He loved to box, and that was just the movie was a little bit of an extra cherry on the top. But and a lot of people weren't Rocky 5 fans. I actually think that was one of the best ones. I loved it. Rocky 1 was okay because you're getting to know the story, but I think when it got to Rocky 3, Rocky 4, and Rocky 5, Rocky 4 was absolute one of the best. But I think Rocky 5 was one of my favorites too because the whole thing which really happens in life when people betray you, they you remember the part where he was like, "Yeah, I want to thank so and so." He thought he was going to
Yeah,
thank him
it
and he didn't
actually
thank him.
played out. Rocky 5 ended up
So
playing out
sad.
in real life, which is the sad part. With
Yeah,
the Don King thing really happened to
right.
the Tommy Morrison real personality.
Yep, that's exactly who he reminded me of, Don King, dude. I was like, wow. But that's how people are. Like they and it was also a good lesson for Rocky too, that he kind of forgot about his family and he was prioritizing the wrong thing. And that happens to a lot of boxing coaches and fighters because boxing is a lifestyle and it's a sacrifice and a lot of families don't support it. And uh, we we tend to prioritize sacrificing for the youth and this and that when really when if you really want to change the world it starts at home. And it's a little too late when we realize that. So but I know that it's not our intention to do that. Like we're out there because we love the sport and we're trying to help people, and we're trying to help the youth, but really it starts at home. And I think that was a good lesson for Rocky because he was forgetting about his kid. Paulie was trying to teach him how to fight, his son how to fight, and he should have been doing that, but he was distracted with Tommy, and so it was a good lesson, but it's reality. Like people are just snakes. They're snakes. Money talks, and money changes people. Unfortunately, some people can handle it, some people don't. Some people get into drugs. Some people. I don't know. I can never say like I can always say, "Oh yeah, I would never do that," but I don't know that until I become that wealthy. So, no, my phone died.
Definitely. Well, to wrap this up, what do you want people to remember about him, and what's your overall takeaway? Oh, maybe your phone is froze. Oh, we may have lost her. Well, I appreciate the fans. I'm sure she's going to be back, but I appreciate the fans following this. He only died when he was 39. after battle with skin cancer. So horrible situation. And obviously he had a heart. He was a real fighter, and he was there for her, and he was there for the youth that she's been training. And boxing is great for underprivileged people, and
It keeps them out of trouble. Are you there still?
No. Anyways, we'll call it at that. Thanks for joining us. Rest